One more live today. The greatest lie ever told is always by the Crown here in Canada. And it's on recent actions of break and enters and of course stealing of Canadians' property, which has been going on at an extensive rate, far surpassing the United States of America. We're way, way out of touch in reality here in Canada. And now we got Doug Ford on a pulpit lying to every Canadian saying, we should bring back castle law. Castle law, eh? Is that even real? The answer is no. No, it's not. I teach and I've taught extensive truth on monopoly of force. Everything about the Crown in all of Canada's history. When I say that, all of our history, through all our wars against the United States, far-reaching all the way back to when it was New France, Canada, New France, when Quebec was the center of government, and then into Ontario. It didn't matter because when King Louis lost, he had monopoly of force in Canada that was not imposed on the British 13 colonies. In fact, I taught you mother and father of American Confederation, America as it is today, long before they actually left as the 13 colonies, long before the War of Independence, when New France came out with monopoly of force. 13 colonies said, no way, and forget it, to the British Empire. Said, we're not doing monopoly of force. They did their own laws, their own ordinances, and they in fact got rid of monopoly of force. So if you're talking any kind of laws on protecting your property and the right to bear arms and use force if necessary to protect your family and property, only the 13 colonies had it. It was never a UK thing for Canada or those British assets in North America, now known as the United States of America. Only the 13 said, no, not us. And then when New France fell in the 7-Year War and it was UK who came out on top, the British Empire of the time, they quickly merged crowns, turned around and said, okay, everybody, monopoly of force. Now, that's carried on all the way through. Now, the 13 colonies had no choice. They did the War of Independence. They did the War of Independence. They maintained their rights, which was never called castle law, as the UK's 13 colonies who rebelled and got independence, making the United States of America, they created the right to bear arms. They never once called it castle law. So then let's fast forward from that point on all the way till today. Now, under the United Kingdom, this is a fast forward 100 years after independence, Canada's created as a country. We got state monopoly of violence. Yeah, you don't have any right, you've never had in Canada. And folks that think you do, you only have a right if the Crown determines you have that right. You better hope that justice is supportive of you. But if you fall in any of the clearly overwhelming precedents, you don't. And we've seen pounds and pounds and pounds of precedent in Canada and the United Kingdom where no, you can't firearm, let alone defend your property with firearms. Monopoly of force never ended. Became state monopoly of violence. You can all look it up. This is lying Canadian politicians selling you on fictions, maybe fiction novels, stories of the UK fantasy land. Because you show me where there's ever been a system in the United Kingdom or in the Commonwealth where you've had a right to violence on your property to protect your family. Now, have there been some cases here and there? Sure. I even know one in Alberta. But few and far between, I promise you. It cost all parties involved a tremendous amount of money. They were charged. They did time in jail. And maybe they got out. Maybe they took a plea bargain. Maybe they got a reduced sentencing after spending some time. But the Crown never, ever, 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 ever in any history of Canada, the United Kingdom, or the Commonwealth where they've allowed you any monopoly lists, meaning you have it, where you have the right to defend yourself and your property. You don't. That's called being a subject. And anyone telling you some fictional novel truth or fictional historical truth is just a bold-faced liar, double-cross, double-speaker. And I give that challenge. Show me in any law written where anyone had any control over those things, over their home and family. Show me precedent in some mythical castle law. You won't find it because it doesn't exist. What I give is the truth. You want to find those stories? They're happening every week in the United States of America. It's why their crime rates are tremendously low compared to ours. You're much safer in the United States of America than you are in Canada. I know this is a fact. I've done already 32 states of the Union, some hardcore states, hardcore neighborhoods that I was raised and told would be detrimental to me. I even spent all the way till 4 o'clock in the morning pub hopping in what's supposedly a brutal neighborhood, and I didn't find it brutal at all. I can go a number of states I did that. They're supposedly scary on TV, and they were nowhere near what I've experienced in Canada. Pretty lightweight to me. Now, obviously, I probably no one realized I'm an unarmed Canadian amongst them, right? You fit in. But I wasn't going to announce that. But in Canada, people generally know, criminals know, you're defenseless. Their idea of fear, there's no fear in Canada. Well, that's never going to happen to me here. But in the United States, geez, you think twice for stealing someone's car or breaking into their home. You think twice. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get the truth out there. And I'll be interested in the comments when people try to show me examples, and then I'll roll through what happened to the folks involved, because I've looked into this in tremendous detail over many years. So it's very pathetic for Doug Ford to come forward in his narrative on a fictional law. This is a premier of a province talking about a fictional, in the fiction section, law. There's no precedent or history of that. That's a joke. The two titles I gave you in this video are actual laws, actual loaded precedents for our entire history. Absolutely, in Canada. Your entire history, even all the way back to Quebec. It goes right to the French history. And if you want to learn more, I can even go into French and Latin, the Pig Latin for the language of kings. You can go into all of that. How English, the newest of the languages, was for the peasant, serf subjects, the low class people, right? We didn't get publications until the 1500s. Illiteracy was huge. Those 13 colonies, illiteracy was super high. They were already educating themselves out of the system. An amazing thing. Anyways, that's my video. Important for all folks to know and share, because that's embarrassing. That's a premier of one of our major province here in Canada, and that's how daft he is, or completely dumb or ignorant, or just a compulsive liar who can't stop himself. It's amazing. It is just shocking, really. And people bite into these poison apples. They don't even fact check. Oh, it was a crown politician, it must be true. No, it's absolutely 100% myth-busted lie. He's reading fantasy books like Robin Hood and stuff like that. Unbelievable. That's my video. Bye now.